Our numbers are more flaccid than my dick.
Older women love her.
We need men to watch.
Women, they have minds, and they have souls, as well as just hearts. And they've got ambition, and they've got talent, as well as just beauty. And I'm so sick of people saying that love is just all a woman is fit for. I'm so sick of it.
Movies have always played a role in leading the fashion trends. We can easily tell the two periods from two different movies give us a completely different feeling, while the first period makes us all feel uncomfortable. The biggest difference between the first one and the second one was because the first one included one kind of gaze, we call them male gaze. Today, I'm going to talk about how does the male gaze in Hollywood movies influence the portrayal of female characters, and how does it change now? If we want to have a full understanding about the male gaze and why it is a negative word here, we have to look at the word gaze first. Gaze is a way of looking that often conveys power dynamics, identity, or relational asymmetry. Lacan used to mention the definition of gaze. He said, "The gaze is not simply what is seen, but the act of seeing that situates the subject within a field of power." So we can easily say that it has a meaning of control hidden in this word. There is definitely no way to misuse see and gaze. And now let's talk about the male gaze. As you can see, the male gaze is a concept introduced by Laura Mulvey in her seminal essay, Virtual Pleasure in Narrative Cinema. In this videos, we'll explore two aspects of that. The first one, the narrative structure itself contains a male 10-point shot and guide to how the male desired to watch the movie. Second, the use of spectacle to slice and dice the female body. For example, the use of close-up to emphasize the significant part of women. We'll see the examples later. Both of this reinforce the relationship between seeing and being seen, with the male always becoming the dominant viewing subject and the female playing the role of being seen, the objective part. Let's talk about this through some stereotypes. One of the stereotypes that has been used to suppress the expansion of female characters in the past has been the thought that women are inherently more emotional than men, have a harder time controlling these feelings than their male counterparts, which make female characters unfit for center stage on various super teams, or becoming the supporting roles of the whole movies, and even worse, as the victim of an unfortunately plot.
Just bones in a box, Teddy.
No.
I am.
This phenomenon has been so frequent in comics that it has led to a concept known among comics fans as fridging, a reference to a now infamous issue of Great Latin, in which Cal, who is the Great Latin, returns home to find his girlfriend has been murdered and stuffed into a refrigerator in his apartment. It is a needless death made only to propel his own conflict with the villain forward. In 2012's Marvel's The Avengers, Black Widow's emotions seem to be triggered by Loki. Loki's intent in this conversation is to disrupt Black Widow by using her emotions against her, something he does never attempt on the same level with the male characters who visit him in his cell. This is a selective behavior, which revives an inherited bias he has towards her. As more emotionally unsteady than her male teammates, and this scene is meant to provoke a sense of Loki's victory over Black Widow. Emotions are important in this scene, but it could be argued that this importance is primarily based on their ability to mislead a male character. The expectations of audience is subverted when we realize that Loki has not gotten the better of Black Widow in this exchange.
So, Banner. That's your play.
What?
A subversion made possible only because of an implicit stereotype that women can be manipulated by their emotions.
Thank you for your cooperation.
So where does the sense of being gazed at came from? Is it entirely came from the male director? Let's watch this clip from The Substance.
At 50, well, it stops.
What stops?
What?
What stops?
What stops? Menstruation stops. This is a story about a woman who chooses to use one kind of substance to spell into a younger version of herself because she is getting older. And the man who is chewing his mouse in front of her is actually his boss, who is trying to fire her because she is getting older. First, this is the Fish Islands. It focuses on the man's chewing mouse. And next to the chewing mouse is a young woman standing as a waitress in a modest but low fabric uniform. And secondly, on the opposite side of the mouse is the heroine's embarrassed expression, and she tried desperately to gain recognition, but ultimately fails. This shows a kind of judge from the opposite perspective. This is definitely make us all feel uncomfortable. However, the director of this movie is a female, so the answer of the first question was definitely no. No matter which kind of gender you are, as long as you are holding the camera and focus on somebody's body in a bad way, you can bring us the sense of uncomfortable, which is the sense of male gaze. And because it is a female director, she has utilized the male perspectives to fully express the age and appearance anxiety that are installed in women under the scrutiny of others, and it also creates a big deal of discomfort. Let's take a look at the second scene. It's from the movie The Poor Thing. It also used a large number of fish islands and also focused on women's body. However, it gave us a completely different feeling. For example, in Bella's sex scene, most of the camera focuses on Bella's facial expression, with a mixed center shot and a medium telephoto, to capture some of the movie's movements and interactive actions. Compared with the close-up lens, zoom female sexual organs or intense sports follow the camera, the movie tries to record Bella's sexual process and objectively describe the emotional changes. The focus is on female sexual pleasure, which somewhat avoids the male gaze angle. This practice is in line with Marvel's proposed strategy of resistance, and achieves the effort of disrupting the view and destroying the pleasure. Due to Globka's study, which focused on multiple constructions of gaze that are put on women's body and beauty, the data illustrate how strongly being looked at was found to imply the male gaze, although it just shows only one small part of a more complex picture. Let's see another example from traditional Hollywood movies narratives, which talk about the appearance of female. Marina. This clip placed more emphasis on the localization of female body, high heels, stockings, tight skirts, and shapely figures, and then switched to the shoots of boys and other men watching with attention. For now, things has a little bit changed. In 1981, in Mulvey's follow-up essay, Afterthoughts on Visual Pleasure and Narrative Cinema, she said, the gender identity is not as rigid as he might have suggested in her earlier essay before. And Oliver also mentioned that The male gaze does not foreclose the possibility of a woman identifying with the active male protagonist of the film or vice versa. Film and media criticals are now using the term gaze more widely than ever to describe an image of the viewer in various media productions. At any time, we will call for a more comprehensive perspective. We shall do what we should do as a viewer of the movies, also as a customer of the film industry. Say what we want to say, express our uncomfortable feeling under the male gaze, but also discuss the male gaze from the virtual effectives of the film without a social biases, or it might easily lead to a generalization or misuse of male gaze.